Hey, what's up everybody? This is Victory with another Princess Connect video. So today we're going to do a bit of a team building update. As you may know, if you watched some of my recent videos, I got really lucky in the Jun Banner and now I have some more units to play with. So we're going to talk about changes that these new units are going to bring to my arena team in particular, and also to kind of my clan battle setup, which we know it's coming. We don't know exactly when. But yeah, so, you know, another past video that some of you may have seen is my how not to climb in battle arena video. And if you've seen that one, you know that I run a pretty scuffed Neon fan team comp in arena, which basically is kind of like a cleave or a spread type team, whatever term you use. Basically, the idea is you hit the enemy with a bunch of area of effect attacks and basically kill the whole enemy team at once. It doesn't really do that. If you've seen any of the footage from my arena video in the past, it doesn't really do that. Nevertheless, I have been pushing with it and climbing with it. I actually made top 2000 with one version of it, and I want to keep evolving it. And in this video, I kind of want to talk about why it is the way it is right now, what the weaknesses and strengths are, and then where I kind of want to go with it. So let's just look at the team. This is not that version. This up here is a version I tried out very briefly, and you'll see some other versions of the team as we get into some of the battle footage. But, you know, Ninon and Mitsuki and Saren and Lima are kind of the main core units of the team. And then you have a bit of a flex slot, I feel, in the 5th slot. You could do a tank, you could do support. I just kind of run with units that I borrow from my farming team. But once I get Mitsuki leveled up and Lima leveled up all the way in rank 7, where they have that big stat boost from their rank 7 passive, I plan to use both of them in the team. But again, neither of them are really ready for it at the moment. So I'm using Jun as filler. You'll see I use Suzuna in there sometimes as well. And then with the units that I've pulled, these are kind of the clan battle teams that I'm looking at. Haven't really finalized them yet. Obviously, clan battle is still a long way off. I may pull in another banner before then or farm some units before then. But you can see the basic idea I want here is just to have, you know, a tank in every team, a defense breaker in every team. So Jun, Mitsuki, unfortunately, those are the only two I have. And then my 5th slot is always going to be a Makoto that I want to borrow from a clan member. So, you know, like I said, some of those key units that I was able to pull, Miyako, Mitsuki, Jun, of course, as well as... No, I guess that was pretty much it. But just having those 3 units, I mean, you can see they've made it into my clan battle team. I'm going to be using 1 or 2 of them in my arena team. So they really made a big difference for me. And I'm really looking forward to clan battle now that I have those units. But now, like I said, I really wanted to focus on the arena side in this video, talk about the cleave team. Ninon is one variation of it. You can also do a Reno version, but Ninon's who I've got, so Ninon's who we're going to go with. So let's just get right into it and do some battles here, and we'll kind of talk about the team and what, like I said, what the strengths and weaknesses are, what it can do well, what it kind of struggles against, and where I want to take the team in the future. So first of all, where I want to go with the team, like I said, Lima and Mitsuki are core units that I'm currently not using. I definitely want to get both of them ranked up, and I want to get both of them on the team. The reason for this is, so if you look at how the team works, basically you want to give Ninon a large TP boost and have her blow everybody up with her fan. Lima and Mitsuki, that's the talking llama and the purple-haired girl. For those of you having trouble keeping up with the names in this game, they support the strategy in a couple of very important ways. First of all, Lima has an ability where she charges in late, and it kind of causes the whole enemy team to group around her. And what this does is, with them all grouped around her, now you, instead of maybe hitting 2 people with Ninon's fan ability, you can hit 3 or 4 or even 5 people when Ninon uses her Union Burst, which of course is a big damage boost for you. So Lima's pretty important in that role. Also, as a frontliner, she kind of acts as a damage soak. I wouldn't call her a tank, but she can soak up some damage and give Ninon more time to charge up that fan burst. Mitsuki, on the other hand, has a role of creating a large field of defense break on the enemy team's side of the field. And so what this does is, of course, if everybody's standing in that, and then Ninon uses her Union Break, Union Burst, Union Break, she uses the big fan thing, then you will have a large increase in your damage dealt by the fan. Pretty simple. So basically, Lima puts them all in one spot, Mitsuki softens them up, and then, Ninon hits them with the fan. And of course, Saren, who I am using in the team, she's a core member as well because she charges Ninon's TP so that she can Union Burst faster. And Saren also has an AoE attack herself. It's not quite as strong, but she kind of acts as a good follow-up to Ninon to sort of finish off anyone who survived the first hit. Then that is 4 slots out of the team. I really haven't figured out for sure who I want in the 5th slot yet. I know some people use Yuki for another TP boost. Yukari does the same thing, but I don't think she quite works. So I'm probably going to do a little more research there, but it may end up being Yuki, might end up being another tank, possibly just an offensive support, maybe somebody like Kokoro or Monica who's just generally good, as long as it doesn't mess up the positioning, because the thing about Saren's TP boost is it's based on position. So you don't want anybody in between Saren and Ninon. You want them to be the closest together with that hidden distance stat that every unit has, which this is a good time to talk about that. If you don't know, now you know. Every unit has a hidden stat. You can call it distance, whatever you want, but basically it determines who stands where, right? Particularly, you have front, middle, and back units, okay? But even though they're assigned those roles, they also have this distance stat. So, like all of your front units have a distance stat, let's say, that is lower than all of your middle units. And then all of your middle units have a distance stat that's higher than all your front units, but lower than all your back units, okay? Right? So this distance stat is how Saren decides who to use her technique point boost on. And so what you want to be careful of is when you're making your team, you don't want anybody who has a distance stat closer to Saren's than Ninon. That way Ninon will always get the boost. Okay, that's very important. So let's say that Ninon has a value of 30 and Saren has a value of 28 on their distance. I don't know if that's the right number, but this is just an example, okay? If you pick somebody who in your team whose distance value is 29, well, they're going to stand in between the two of them, and now you're screwed up. By the same token, if you pick somebody whose distance value is 27, again, it's going to be screwed up because they're closer to Saren than Ninon is. And then your frontliners should all be far enough away, as well as anyone else in your midline should be far enough away from Saren that they don't steal that TP boost for themselves. Okay, so that's how distance works. There are some Google Sheets out there where you can look it up. So just a good thing to keep in mind, and you can see it right away who has a greater or lower distance by how they stack up as you start to place your team. It's just not a number that you can go into the game and see, but people have done the math on it. Anyway, enough said about distance. Again, like I said, I'd like to get Lima and Mitsuki both into this team. Then I want to do a little research. I may end up using Yuki on the team, or maybe find somebody else who would fit a little bit better, but that's kind of where I want the team to go. Not so much in the long term, but just kind of, within the next week or so, I'd like to have this team pretty much set as far as who's in it, and then just work on making those units better and better and better, so that I can go as high as possible with the team. So let's talk about the weaknesses of the team. One big obvious one is everything that you're doing is physical damage, right? Ninon does physical damage. Saren does physical damage. If you run Suzuna in your scuffed version like me, Suzuna does physical damage. So everybody's doing physical damage, meaning that blinds, such as the one from Maho, I think there's a couple other units that can blind as well, your blinds that you get hit with a lot in Arena are just going to totally mess you over. And you've probably seen Ninon miss a few times already, just if you've been paying attention to the footage. So blinds, you want to watch out for Maho in particular. Any other character that's got a blind, you want to watch out for that, and just make sure that you either have a way to get around that or just refresh away and find somebody else. The place where the team really shines, though, as far as strengths, why run this in the first place if it loses to blinds and, all of this stuff. One of the big strengths of the team that I find is a lot of people are building their defenses to beat the Mage Melt team. It's pretty popular. And you see tanks like Kuka in front, who's really good against mages. You see Tamaki out there, who is, again, designed to fight mages. And so you can find these sort of vulnerabilities in your opponent's defenses, where if you see somebody that's set up to beat a Mage Melt team, that's generally going to be a pretty good matchup for you. Because the skills that they're using, like Kuka's Magic Shield, or if there's like an enemy Yukari, I don't know how many Yukaris you see in really high arena, but I see a fair bit down where I'm at. You see things that are specialized against magic. This team is pretty good against those because, again, the skills that they're using are just kind of worthless. I'm not doing any magical damage. I don't have anybody with a magic attack stat. And so the anti-mage type defenses, this can kind of prey on them. You just have to kind of make sure that you have the damage to get them down, because what will happen is, if you use your fan and then they all survive it, suddenly you've got, 2 or 3 union breaks coming right back at you. So you want to kind of gauge out, okay, so this person is going to be 4 stars, so they're going to be really beefy. They'll probably live through this. Maybe I should pick a different person. You just want to look at the enemy team and how you match up your knowledge of the pacing of your damage and think, okay, am I going to have a wipe here, or am I going to get them down to about a quarter of their health and get wiped in response? Hopefully you enjoyed watching my team get wrecked and have some lucky wins, and I really appreciate everybody who's been liking and commenting and subscribing. I never expected that I'd have 2 videos so soon that cracked 1,000 views. So thank you so much. Please keep it coming. I know I'm going to be keeping the content coming for you guys. If there's any videos you want to see me do, just let me know in the comments, and thank you again for watching. Have a great day.